You were always on my mind. Tell me that your sweet love hasn't died. Thought I'll do a little Elvis today because it's OG day. Actually, it should be more like Ain't My Type of Hype, baby. You and me together. You look so good. It's the OG QB coming in and saving the day for the New York Football Giants. Part of the fan base has gone bonkers. Don't go on Twitter. Stay off Twitter. James Williams, I'm looking at you. James. I have 4,968 messages between T. Brad and James and myself because of people going crazy on Twitter. We got the Omega Supreme who was missed the other day. What's up, Zach? What's up, chat? What's up, Omega? Hope you're doing good. We also have Indian Spice sitting in the room. We got Ty God Taylor. I like the Ty God Taylor. We got Mike Lee. Good thing you said CBS and not Rite Aid. I think they need the ointment as well. Tyrod Taylor says, Big Blue, enough said. You got Juan. What's up, Juan? I haven't seen Juan in a while. It's always good to have Juan in the house. Juan is here and says, Big Blue also says, Tim, thoughts on Banks so far? I like him so far. He's playing well. He's playing good tight coverage. He's not giving up the big play. He's not Trey Hawkins in it. Trey Hawkins the third in it. He looks like a solid player. He looks like the most solid pick that Joe Shane has. He really does. Out of the last two drafts, you got to give Banks his due. He looks like he's the winner. You got the pimp named Slick back in the house going, what's up, Tim? What's going on, my brother? Everything's going good here. We got Joe Rev. Joe Rev is always on my mind. We got Daryl, of course, in the chat. What's on, Tim? What's going on, Tim? What's going on, chat? Fun facts. In the last 22 games, Daniel Jones has 10 explosive plays of 15 yards more. Tyrod had 7 in 2 games. Fun fact. Tyrod Taylor was pressured in these last starts 48% of the time. Daniel Jones 43% of the time. Daniel Jones has 9,468 sacks to Tyrod Taylor 6. I mean, those aren't the exact numbers. When Zach Attack comes in, we'll know the exact numbers. Mr. Alvarez says, seems like Banks and McFadden are the best Shane picks so far. I would like to see more out of McFadden. He's got a Ryan Conley feel to him right now. So let's get a little deeper into the season and we'll see where we go. And Mr. McCormick says, "What's up, Tim? Everything's up, everything's good. Why? Because the OG King came in and saved the day." I mean, at this point in time, can we just think about this for a second? At this point in time, the Giants are in a quandary. They're in a quagmire because of the fact that Tyrod Taylor came in and proved that a 34-year-old journeyman quarterback who hasn't started a game since 2021 can come in and run the offense to the same effectiveness as their $40 million a year quarterback did. That should scare the bejesus out of every Giant fan. You should be frightened that you have a 34 who's on the last year of a 2-year deal, Tyrod Taylor is, who came in and ran the offense with the same efficiency and actually better than your $160 million man. You got to look at that and say, okay, there's something wrong here. Could we have brought in someone like Mitchell Trubisky? Could we have brought in someone like Marcus Mariota? Could we have brought in somebody who could have just been a fill-in or a gap quarter, the bridge the gap until we found a competent quarterback in this year's coming up draft? Because you're getting the same production. If anything, you're getting better production. Think about that. If Daniel Jones had the same game that Tyrod Taylor had yesterday, we would be hearing from the Daniel Jones Panty Boys how he's the quarterback of the future. How you can see now why Shane and Dave will put their trust in him. Tyrod does it. It's like, well, Daniel Jones would have won too. Just like I was texting people yesterday. Just like Graham Gano never misses a kick. All right. You can't sit there and tell me Daniel Jones would have won. You can't tell me that. Yeah, he's owned Washington. It's his only primetime win. But you can't sit there and tell me he would have won yesterday. You don't know. I am a little bit more interesting in trying to figure out what happened to the offense in the second half. The offensive game plan seemed to shift a little bit, and they got away from what kind of was working. They were mixing up the plays very nice in that first half. They were moving the ball with efficiency. They were mixing in the run with the pass. It seemed like at points in time yesterday, they just decided they were going to run on first down. Run on first down, run on second down, get on third and long, and throw the ball. You didn't really do you had a good mixture of play calling that first half, and then it kind of went away. Zach Attack is right. Baker Mayfield, 1 year deal, $4 million. Think of this for a second. Here, great point. I'm going to get to everyone else, but great point right here. Great point. Think of the fact if you had Tyrod Taylor and Baker Mayfield. What are you making? $8 million between two quarterbacks this year? Think of the money you would have this year and next year and going into the fall in 2024 and 2025 if you did this. If you had done that, if you had the foresight of saying Daniel Jones ain't the guy, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. I've been saying that for 4 years or 3.5 years. But it's okay. We got OG Knockout in here going, what's going on? Everything's going on. Exactly saying a crazy set. The Giants are the game and a half back from the wild card spot. Long shot. If you want to win, start Tyrod Taylor. If you want to draft pick, start Daniel Jones. We got Nick saying, yo, Tim. What's up, Nick? We got Matt saying prisoner of the moment, but is this defense actually good? I don't know. Washington's offensive line is just as bad as ours. And I love it because everyone's like, Justin Pugh has solidified the line. And these are the same people that love to use Pro Football Focus. And then Pro Football Focus came out with this blocky rating, which was a 14.2. 2 sacks and 2 pressures. He got abused yesterday by Chase Young. Same with Phillips. Everyone's like, Phillips is right. He really filled in for Evan Neal. He did all this. He's still looking for Montez Sweat. He's still looking for him. He didn't even move. OG says, that's why I said it was John Mara. Tim, you might be right. I blame John Mara too. Jerome says, I love how we still have fans clamoring that we had to pay Jones. No, we didn't. You don't have to do anything. That sums it up. You don't have to do anything. No one on the market was paying Jones more than $20 million a year. Not us. We paid him 40. We outsmarted everyone. What's up, Coach Dave? How you doing? Yep. What's up? Mike Lee says DJ would have been sacked 10 times. If DJ, honestly, I do, great point, Mike Lee. I think if Daniel Jones played yesterday, I think he probably would have been sacked at least 8 times minimum. Because there was a couple plays where Tyrod moved away from the pressure, where he actually, wait for it, felt the pressure and moved away from it. He didn't just stand there like a statue and let someone plow into him and then be like, I don't know what happened there. What could have possibly happened? Nick says, to say Jones would have won is crazy in football. Thank you, Nick. You never know. It is crazy to say you never know. OG says, I said no because Daniel Jones can't handle the blitz. No, he can't. He can't process fast enough. We talked about this. Everyone's running the new iOS. Daniel Jones is running Windows 97 on an Apple, which doesn't work too well. What's Daryl said? Daryl says a quarterback controversy in New York. No. This is why Dave Gettleman never bought in a competent backup scared he might look better than Daniel Jones. That is interesting. I mean, that is an interesting concept. Mike Glennon, I don't think he was a quality backup. Jake Fromm, not a quality backup. You know, and I love it because some people actually were saying if we had Tyrod Taylor during the Judge era, Joe Judge still might be the head coach. Thank God that's not true. Because Joe Judge was a moron, but thank God that is not true. We got the super chat for the pimp name Slickback. Glad everyone is on the same page 3 years later. Some of us aren't on the same page. Some of us flip-flop like the prevailing winds. There's so many content creators out there that goes, Daniel Jones sucks. Daniel Jones is awesome. Daniel Jones sucks again. Wait, I meant to say Daniel Jones is awesome. Make up your fucking mind. Have an opinion and stick to it. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. But you know what? You don't get a new one. You don't get a new asshole unless you are one. What's up, Juan? What does Juan have to say? Juan says, Tim, I gave a theory about the offensive stalling in the second half. Could it be that they didn't want to make Jones look even worse with Tyrod lighting up the scoreboard? I don't think that was the case. I think if you want me to be 100% honest, I think they freaked out. I kind of think Dable and Kafka and everyone kind of freaked out. They're like, we got a lead. The defense is playing lights out. Let's just play ball control and see what happens. And then, like I said, Washington, all of a sudden decided to go on a 17-play drive. Thank God, because they didn't score. Our best defense at times on that second half was allowing them to go 17 plays because it ate up the majority of the clock, and they didn't score. What does the Bob have to say? The Bob, what's up, Bob? Thank you for the super chat. Super chats are going to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. They still refuse to admit contract was a mistake. They're not going to admit it. They are not going to admit it. Here's the thing. Here right now is Joe Shane's worst nightmare. Besides what happened on Sunday, this is his worst nightmare. That Daniel Jones is cleared to play. If Sauce Gardner is out of concussion protocol, you have a championship style defense who's got some giddy up to get off the quarterback with the Jets, and you are going to put him behind this line, which is not improved, and you are going to get him killed, and then Tyrod Taylor's going to come in and win the game. That is Shane's worst nightmare. Because then what do you say? Because you are anchored to Daniel Jones next year no matter what. You are not trading him. You are not waiving him. You are not restructuring his contract. You are going to eat that, what a $60 million dead cap number or whatever it is. You are going to eat that money, and you're going to sit there. You're going to have your shit-eating grin, and you're just going to smile and take a big bite out of your shit sandwich. That's what you're going to do, because that's all you can do. And you could draft a quarterback and then kind of go from there. But they will never admit that it's a mistake. Tell Bad Dog and Chris that, Tim. What am I telling them? I'll tell them whatever you want. I already got into it with Bad Dog on Twitter today. I'll tell you whatever you want. What do you want me to tell him? Let's see. OGO says Daniel Jones is Frankenstein in the pocket. Rush back. Halloween reference. James Williams says, Zach Attack, that's what's so stupid, my brother. All these content creators post their DJ draft reaction videos for the next 4 years, act like they want him to jump. I love it, because one of the things I was getting into with Bad Dog was the fact that he kept telling me that I said the Giants should take Malik Willis with the 5th overall pick. And initially after the combine, yeah. But then I posted my video my actual draft video, and I said, hey, listen, no, I said actually go defense. I was like, go Thibodeau and linebacker. And he goes, well, that other video doesn't matter then? We got a little surprise for him. Right, Zach Attack? we got a little surprise coming around the corner. No, they say it best. Don't fuck with the bull because you get the horns. Big Blue says, and I still love Bad Dog. I still love the man. Because you know what? I got nothing but love for everybody. Well, there's a list of people I don't. And Tyrod doesn't stare down one receiver. He doesn't red stripe man. There's no red stripe in man. Tim, you and I, OG Knockout says, saw this coming the second year. We did. And you know what, OG? You know what's the scariest thing? I remember so many things that people said, and OG is one of them. OG, James, Zach, Mike Lee, Juan Cepeda. I mean, there's a plethora of people that we've been talking about this since his second season. That you didn't see the progression. You didn't see anything get better or anything change from year 2. It got worse in year 3. And then year 4 was an average season. And if you take out the injuries from year 2 and 3 and extrapolate the stats over a 16-game season, it would almost be identical, except with more interceptions and fumbles, than what he had in 2023 or 2022, excuse me. We saw it. You could see it from the league sees it. Anyone outside of the giant bubble sees it. Just we don't. James says, I saw this coming the minute he put on the Giants hat on draft night. Yeah. Nick says, I never seen a player divide so much. 100%, Nick. This quarterback is so divisive. And not because of his attitude, not because of his personality, but because of the fact that we are in year 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're still having this conversation that we don't know what he is. Okay. What's up, my brother? How you doing, my friend? Everything's good. Everything's going on. Everything's well. We got Todd saying, to be fair, week 1, Zach Wilson is great. According to Jets fans, next week they're looking. Well, the problem with Zach Wilson is he's Zach Wilson. I didn't like Zach Wilson either. I said the same thing about Zach Wilson with that. Everyone talks about his pro day and that pass that he made when he ran to the right and threw it to the left and dropped it into the corner of the end zone. Everyone's like, oh. And then some of us pointed out a play that Sam Darnold actually made in a game, which was identical. More New York says, please, low, the offense is Dabo guy. I think you mean Dave's guy? Okay. Nick says, never seen a play. Oh, we got that one. Let's see. I think Dabo called the first half. And you know what? Someone else said the same thing. I think Dabo called the first half. Then he let Kafka call the second half. Someone else said the same thing to me. And I wasn't, I thought about it. And then I was like, well, maybe he could be right. I mean, and I thought, no, he wouldn't do that. I mean, he should call the whole game. But then I'm like, yeah, he could be right. Pimp Name Slickback comes in and says, with a big super chat, I don't trust the people who run laps for jump shots. We're not even going to get into that. I got into so much trouble with that. And I love how Pimp Name Slickback brings it up. I got into so much trouble for that because you saw the video. Now, my dumbass, I come out with a video the next day saying, none of those people played football competitively because running laps is a punishment. It's not something you do to show your solidarity. Oh, Pimpin likes to bring back the bad memories. What does Dennis say? Fire said the O-line had a great game. Well, they're a bunch of idiots. Bad Dog won't admit it because he had the panties on his head. You're not wrong. How did the O-line have a great game? The quarterback allowed the O-line to look better because of the fact that he understood I said this blew my mind yesterday. This literally, I mean, my mind literally exploded watching this. Giants were on the 27 or 28 in Washington territory. Tyrod Taylor, shotgun formation, sees something he doesn't like, checks out of the play, calls a different play, looks over the defense one more time, checks back into the original play, and then proceeds to run the ball 20 yards. We haven't seen that since Eli Manning. Because, like I said, I have this feeling that Daniel Jones just isn't allowed. No, it wasn't me. I think it was Zach or someone said, what isn't allowed to check out of plays. Another Christmas card for Ron. Yeah, I love Ron. Indian Spice. When he went for the 2-point conversion 2 years ago, I've been saying I'm going to send a Christmas card to Ron every year, and it was funny because the first year I actually did send him a Christmas card. Salute to everyone in the chat for using their brains the last 5 years, and don't forget to like. I don't think I need to tell you that, but don't forget to like. Everyone else is going on. Everyone else is smart. Mr. Alvarez says Ricky Stromberg made the O-line come alive. Thank God he didn't start the first half. I mentioned that in the 2 videos about Ricky Stromberg out of Arkansas. He is a center who came in and played. I did a whole video on Ricky. He's a center that came in and played guard. And honestly, it was weird because you had thought that Wink would have been like fresh meat. I got a rookie coming in to play guard who is normally a center. Fresh meat. Let's put Cave on. Let's put someone on top. Let's just attack that side. And he held up. He held up like 7-Up. I mean, that was it was amazing. Like I said, he changed the complexion. Indian Spice says, what did we say here? Hit the lot everything. Just online Big Blue. Ron, that was also stupid against the holding penalty against us, which would have put us on kicking on 4th down. Next play, touchdown pass to Waller. You're right. But you gotta love that. Big Blue. What did we say? Big Blue. Please, Tim, please tell me why some fans are obsessed with Jones. What is it? Just don't get it. You want me to be honest? If you want me to be honest, I'll be honest. I think some fans just don't understand football because all they had was the Eli Manning years to use that as a gauge. And that's all they know. And I think some fans of the New York Giants don't want a black quarterback. You want to be honest? I'm going to be honest. Been going to the game since 76. I'm gonna tell you like it is. Isaiah says, Tim, how are you? I'm good. How do you feel about the Drake May? I like Drake May. I still like Caleb Williams better. I know he's had 2 bad games in a row, but I still like Williams better. But I wouldn't be upset. More New York, please. Early decision. You either shut him down or you bring him back first to Raiders, but then you have the Cowboys in the week after that. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting game. This is an interesting game because the Jets defense is no joke. They are no joke. Let's see. Joe says, how can you say the line is not improved? Pugh came in and stabilized the line. This was how the best O-line we've had in years. I know you're being sarcastic. That's why I love you, man. That's why I love Mr. Joe Rev. We got the Pimp Nate Sick dropping in the big old super chats. Let's see here. I think it also comes down to being right, especially content creators. Their egos are too big to admit they were wrong. They die on the hill for him. I admit I'm wrong. It's okay to be wrong. And you know what? It's all right to be wrong, because you're not going to get everything right. I just love it when they try to pick on something with you because you were wrong on this. Yeah, okay. What else you got? Yeah, because you can't pick on the fact that I'm dashingly handsome. You can't pick on that. But what else you got? You're right. But my thing is this: you flip flop. People just flip flop so much. And it's a weekly flip-flop. Flip-flops don't flip-flop that much. At the beach. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. Oh, let's see here. Zach Wilson is trash. Yeah, he's trash. I like Pugh is stinky. He's Pepe Le Pew. I don't understand where people see this with Justin Pugh. I really don't get it. Stanley says, hey, Tim, I can't believe Bad Dog and Fisk Vegas no longer have faith in Daniel Jones anymore. Maybe your message finally got through to Fisk. I don't have a problem with Fisk Vegas either. I don't even know Fisk. I listened to one Fisk Vegas video once, and that was about the entertainer. And it was funny because everything he said was 100% accurate. And I've seen people, and I went through the exact same thing. And somehow, for some reason, him and Kopp and Ron Effect have an issue with what I said about Daniel Jones. I wonder if they're going to invite me on for an apology tour. Somebody asked me, would you do the show with Kopp and Fisk and Ron? I said, sure. I don't care. A, I'm not afraid of anyone. B, I don't have a problem with anyone. And see, why not? Life is too short. I liked it stinky. Todd says Bad Dog is just desperate to win. He's one of those fans that remembers the Vikings games, forgets the Eagles game, and after everyone forgets what happened after the Eagle game. Everyone forgets what Daniel Jones. What is Daniel Jones? Zach, I see your super chat. I'm gonna get to you in a second. What is Daniel Jones's record since the Eagle game, or counting the Eagle game? Coach Dave says the fact that the DJ Penny boys are triggered by college quarterbacks when they have a bad game is ridiculous. That really is sad. Thanks, Coach Dave. That really is sad. I see them attack these kids when they have a bad game. It's like, are you that fearful that they could be drafted by the Giants that you have to disparage a kid who had a bad game against Utah, but still has 24 touchdowns and 3 interceptions? Oh, that ain't easy being me. Hirsch for real. What's going on, my friend? What's going on? Everything's good. Big Dog says your line hasn't changed. No, they haven't. Michael, no, they really haven't. Tyrod says, Tyrod said, Michael, he said, Tyrod looked good despite their failings. He did. And there were plenty of plays that Tyrod got roughed up. You get worried, when you get old, things break off. Coach Dave says they allowed us to be held hostage 3 years by Eli's legacy, then doubled down on it by drafting what was thought to be Eli 2.0. Eli Manning stayed at the party 3 years too long. 100%. And I love Eli Manning. I'm a huge Eli Manning fan, but he stayed at the party 3 years too long. And I said that multitudes of times. Loving you is wrong. I don't know. Second attack with a big old super chat said people are fans of a player, not the team. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as you are, but you're not wrong, Zach. Nothing's wrong with that as long as you're rooting for the entire team along with the player. I had as a kid, I had favorite players. In 79, when we took Phil Simms, he was my favorite player till he left in 93. I loved Joe Morris. Little Joe, 5'7" from Syracuse. You loved Bavaro. Carl Banks. I always tell the story that I've told the story a couple times that in 87 in Pasadena before the Super Bowl, I met Carl Banks in the elevator lobby. The elevator going into the lobby of the hotel. I met him going into the elevator. And he gave me, I was still playing high school, and he gave me advice. Because I asked him, and he gave me good advice. He was number 58 was one of my favorite players. I also have another favorite player. I always have my Carl Banks helmet. I always got that laying around here somewhere. But I still rooted for the entire organization, not just the one guy. Paul says Kayvon still looks weak at the point of attack. He gets stoned at the line and takes bad angles. He still does. He really does still take bad angles. And I know people are like, well, he's got 5 sacks and Joey Bosa's only got 4 sacks. And okay. Who would you rather? And I was thinking about, who would you rather have, Bosa or Kayvon? I'm taking Bosa. Sorry. I would literally back up the truck and say, okay. Malik Willis still has more yards in the air than Daniel Jones. Hey-o. Michael Penix is literally the perfect quarterback to sit behind. I like Penix. I do. I think he would be an interesting fit in the Dable offense. I don't think he has the same skills as a Josh Allen, but like I said, you don't know what these guys are going to turn into as soon as they get into the NFL. So we're not sure. And plus Malik Willis is going to start next week. Mr. McCormick says Bad Dog won't admit he's been wrong about Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts. I got blasted for that because I did videos that I said I would take Jalen Hurts over Daniel Jones. And it wasn't just because I think he is more physically gifted than Jones. There is when you play at a higher competitive level, not just like high school, but when you play at a higher competitive level, you rally around guys. There's guys that you just gravitate towards because of their personality, just because of their aura. And Jalen is one of those guys that you see his teammates pick him up. They pick him up like he's a little brother. They pick him up and dust him off, and they want to play for him. You saw some of the pictures come out of the locker room with Banks is staring at Tyrod with this look on his face, and it's almost like you could see that they kind of gravitate towards Tyrod. I love Tyrod Taylor though, because he's so OG. He's so over the top OG because of the fact I love the fact that if you watch him on the bench, Daniel Jones is sitting there. Daniel Jones is sitting there looking down. Daniel Jones is either his head down or doing something. Tyrod Taylor just leans back like this. Like, all right. That's all I love it. It killed me. He's like, okay. Is that what you want to do? That's why he's the
who's he? The OG QB.
That's why you love Tyrod. That's why you love Tyrod. What's up, Michael? I see this big old super chat from Michael. Let's get down to Michael. We got a lot to get through today, guys. Let's see. Michael says they are making the worst excuse for Jones. I've seen someone today say the O-line blocked better for Tyrod than Jones. Ridiculous. Or Tyrod understood, made his adjustment. I love the fact that Kafka came out and said, well, the line adjustments are actually made by the center. So when the center gets into his stance and he's looking and he can't see anything but really besides the guy in front of him, how is he seeing where the linebackers are? How is he seeing where the safeties are? How is he seeing where the guys are lining up? And then I love it because then he goes, well, but the final call is on the quarterback. So how is that different? I mean, just think about that for a second. That's why I love you, Michael. Pimp name Slickback dropping the big old super chat site. Everyone loves bringing up the O-line, the wide receivers. Basically, basic economics would tell you if the O-line affected play, how much better would make the quarterback people. You're right. But here's the thing. Oh, Jesus, I'd take Kirk Cousins first. I'd probably take Kirk Cousins too. Yeah, the offensive line play affects how, but yeah. You're always dropping knowledge, Pimp. You're always dropping knowledge. I can't even add to that because you're right. James Williams says Daniel Jones has the not factor times 10. DJ is Jamie O'Hara and Tyrod is more Rudy talents. But Jamie O'Hara did throw that halfback pass to get Rudy on the field so he could get the sack. Of course, none of that happened. And who was Jamie O'Hara? Who played Jamie O'Hara? Vince Vaughn. Oh, not only are we, let's see. Roy says, my 85-year-old grandmother was speaking of Dave Meggett's family who grew up on her street. Oh, that's cool, except for Dave Meggett's in prison. Let's see here. Are you going to own up? Are you going to own up to your freezing cold? Malik will stay home. Unbiased villain. I got a question for you. Who's starting on Sunday next week? Who's starting this Sunday? Do you know? Do you know who's starting this Sunday for the Tennessee Titans, who beat out Will Levis?
Malik Willis. Bringing the
Here you go. I'm going to give you some unbiased take. Unbiased villain. I'm going to give you a little unbiased take here. You're giving up on a quarterback after 4 games, but we're in year 5 with Daniel Jones. Can you own up to that? Can you? Pimp name Slickback also dropping in the chat says, also, I don't want to hear anything about, we can't only get a quarterback if we're in the top 5. This draft has about 6 guys you could take in the top 2 rounds. Last time I checked, when they drafted Eli Manning, but they didn't even draft Eli Manning. Eli Manning went first overall. And Ernie, of course, he did something. I don't know. I don't know if you're allowed to do this in the NFL anymore. He made a trade, and he got Eli Manning. I'm not sure you're able to do that anymore. Are you still allowed to make trades in the NFL to move up into the first round and higher in the first round? I'm not sure. Is Derek Ramirez? Can you do that? Plus the fact you're right. There are at least 6 guys that can go in this draft within the first 2 rounds. Let's see here. I saw Derek. Here's Derek says, I think we're going to trade off most of our expiring contracts by the deadline, even if we keep on winning. No, he's already come out. I don't 100% believe him, but he's already come out and said, Joe Shane, is that he's not moving anything. If the Giants lose on Sunday and you are if you're 2-6 and you don't start moving contracts, then I have to question. I got to question Shane a little bit on that one. I still love the Rudy comment. I still love the Rudy comment. That makes me laugh. No man. Here we go, James. No one man comes before the team. Left side, strong side. You know it said. Big Dog said, says Fisk can't be taken seriously. He roots for the Saints when the Giants are doing bad. I like the Saints. Ryan said, what does Ryan says? I finally look at some who know what they are talking about, and you are right, bud. I just think some fans don't want a black quarterback, and that's because that's because what's a black quarterback, and that's why you have Potty and Davis is ass kick. Oh, okay. I probably should have read that one first. I think some fans are that way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, how does a franchise going back to the 20s never drafted black quarterback and it's only started 2? And every team in our division, and even if you throw the Arizona Cardinals back in, was when they were St. Louis Cardinals, have started at least 2 in that same time period, going back to the early 90s. Where's Chad Powers when you need him? I like to see Chad Powers. Big Greg, what's up, Big Greg? It's 1 a.m. and you're in Sweden. Before I go to bed, show some love. Got to work at 5 a.m. Peace. Hit that like. Thank you, Big Greg. And Greg, hopefully he's going to be making a trip around here soon. I can't wait. Can't wait to meet Greg in person. Ernie, of course, he was our last great GM. I don't disagree. Tim, also remember you saying that Willis was either boom or bust. I did say Willis was going to be either boom or bust. And I also said Willis needed to sit an entire year. But the problem is, Nick, everyone hears what they want to hear. And that's fine, because if that's the best they have against me, I'm freaking awesome. Because I can tell you a lot of other things I got wrong. Zach Attack says Malik Willis has the worst pocket presence, despite his sack time was 1.8 seconds. Daniel Jones' sack time was 3.9 to 4.1 sack. Yeah, I do think that's kind of funny that the offensive line in Tennessee has not gotten any better. It's not gotten any better at all. The offensive line in Tennessee is god awful. It was bad last year, but I think it might be even worse this year. Why isn't Bo Nixon getting any love? Bo Nix, because Bo Nix seems like he's been in college for like 50 years. And I don't know. I gotta see Bo Nix. I don't know. You know, he's had this up and down career. I'm not sure. I don't know. I really don't know about Bo Nix, to be honest. What did we say? Remember the Buffalo Bills moved up in the draft to get a Josh Allen after having a decent season? Yeah, they went to the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor and gave him Tyrod a contract the year before that. Nix isn't that good. Michael also says, I have a feeling it's going to be a good defensive game this week. I think it's going to be a good defensive game this week because you got Zach Wilson at quarterback. I'm not 100% sure the Giants defense is as good as they've shown recently. They weren't really good in Miami. They weren't good against the 49ers. They weren't good against Dallas. They showed up at the end against the Cardinal team. Washington was not a juggernaut. Washington's offensive line is just as bad as ours, if not worse. And they got a quarterback who's in year 2, and this is his first year starting. We have to kind of wait and see. We've got to kind of wait and see what happens. Indian Spices, I think fans are more critical of the other team's quarterbacks than more leaning on their own. Of course, yeah, you're right. Michael says our secondary is playing lights out. Banks was a great pick. Hawkins has his moments, but he's getting turned around. He's getting turned around. Mike Vrabel will put on his Pats Hall of Fame this week. I didn't know that got to put on the Pats Hall of Fame this weekend, though. I didn't know if Vrabel did. Good for Vrabel. I don't have a problem with Vrabel. Let's see here. Bo Nix has similar stats to Daniel Jones. Well, that's just a killer right there. I remember, Calvin Service, I remember someone did mention in a video that the Titans O-line was currently ranked last. They are. And last year, their number one wide receiver was the 32-year-old Robert Woods Jr. You talk about the Giants not having any weapons or offensive line. Tennessee had nothing last year. Pimping Slickback. So what's your thoughts on McCarthy, the kid from Michigan? Is he going to come out this year? I don't know if he's coming. Is he coming out this year? I'd be curious to see if he is. I want Bo Callahan. That's who I want. Zach Favre is going to help us out too. Zach Favre. Let's see here. Nick says, sad that it has to be the only black quarterback to win a game for the Giants. And I think that was missed upon. I posted it on Twitter this morning. It was almost like a shock to some people that this is the first time and a black quarterback has started for the Giants and won. I know Geno Smith started, but it's first time a black quarterback has started for the Giants and won a game for the Giants in over 100 years. I don't know. Just saying. Let's see. What does Big Dog say? If DJ plays, I guarantee he freezes up. I'm not going to take that guarantee because I think you're right. Jeff says, do you think our GM and coach under the direction of Mara are faking the severity of Daniel Jones' neck injury to keep no, I don't think they're faking this. You gave this guy $160 million. Shane and Dable have to get him back in the lineup because the more Tyrod plays, and if he continues to play at the same level, if not slightly higher than Daniel Jones, it makes their whole argument of signing him to this big contract look nuts. So they have to. They have to get him back in. Indian Spice says, wasn't Vrabel at the game the guy that almost sacked Eli Manning on the helmet? I think he was. I do think he was. Willis has a coach that's not willing to work with the good things he does, minimizes his deficiencies. You're right. Mike Vrabel, I don't want to keep talking about Malik Willis, but Mike Vrabel came out in Malik Willis' second preseason game, and he started the preseason game and told him, I want you to stay in the pocket. You are a pocket passer now. You need to stay in the pocket. He told him that. He said it in the press conference that he told Malik Willis to stay in the pocket. Do not run. Look down the field, go through your progressions and throw the ball. But you can't. And it's one of those things it's like telling, and I'm not saying there, Michael, it's like telling Michael Vick, hey, Michael, I know, like 80% of your game is predicated on your legs, but you can't use them. Can't use them. Just stay in the pocket. Oh, he is declaring. He would be an interesting pick as well for the Giants. I don't know how high he's going to go, but he's another one. If he's declaring, I would not be upset if the Giants draft him. Jay Sports Card says, if the Giants say OG QB, you mean Eli Manning. If you say Giants OQB, you mean Eli Manning? Of course not. We know that. Paul says, Taylor wavers, dog screams and cries, and Fisk is a fake bully. Okay, we can end the show now because Paul just wrapped it up. And don't forget the like button as you leave. I'm just kidding. Michael says, I would rather have May than Williams. I think I'm alone on that. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people that are, after Williams has had two bad games in a row, are kind of wavering on the Williams thing. And also Williams has got some weird demands, and he doesn't remind me of Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen was a nut when he came out of college, and Josh Rosen asked for all these weird things, and he didn't interview well, but I don't think it's going to be that way. I don't think it's going to be that way. Todd says if he simply doesn't play worse, he makes the contract look obscene. Excuse me. Yeah, he does. If he plays bad, it's just going to get worse because then people are going to. Here's the thing: the moment, let's just say, Todd, that Daniel Jones plays against the Jets, and let's just say first quarter, 7 minutes in, Daniel Jones throws an interception or fumbles the ball or takes a sack like he always does. You know that crowd is going to be the most favorite person in football when the starter's playing poorly is the backup quarterback. Just like in the NBA, the most favorite person on the NBA team is the 12th man. Is the last guy on the bench because you always want to see him play. Mr. Alvarez says, only a slight random note. I hope the Giants trade for the no-line Terrence Marshall. I do like Terrence Marshall, but I don't think the Giants are going to make any trades. I think they are going to stay put. I don't think they're making any trades. Pimp Nick's like the dead cap number for Jones releases $70 million next year in 22 and 2025. I love how people try to say the contract was low risk. You're going to waste a year. That was the thing I said. Yeah, it was great. You can get out of the contract in year 3. And initially, year 3 was only an $18 million dead cap hit, but they had to take $5 million of that bonus money and kick it down the road to 2025. I thought it was 23 million in 2025, a dead cap number. And you're right. The dead cap number in 2024 is so obscene. You only have right now, I think, 37 players under contract in 2024. And I think you only have, now you can get it up probably like 60 million. I think you only have like 45 million right now in cap space. So if you do something with Jones and you take a $70 million dead cap number, what are you going to field? 40 guys? Mr. Alvarez says on a slightly random note, I already got that one. Pimp names look back for 2 for 2. I said, yeah, I like McCarthy. He's aggressive. He can use his legs. You know what the only problem is with McCarthy is I don't know with him. I don't know him in the Jim Harbaugh offense. But I do agree. He keeps his eyes downfield, and that's the thing I'm looking for. Yeah, I do agree with that 100%. Lincoln Riley doesn't like to adjust their offense. The Pac-12 is not the Big 12 in regards to defense. Pimp name Slickback says, also respect the Eagles GM. They gave Carson Wentz a massive contract. 2 years later, they moved on, stunk up the joint. Eagles under Howie they just traded for the safety. Their secondary was broken, so they go, let's go make this trade for the safety. Giants offense line's broken. Let's go find Justin Pugh on the couch. And I know, and it's weird though, because you're still limited in cap space. The Giants are, and so are the Eagles, but somehow the Eagles always figure it out. I hate to say it, but Sterling Shepard is washed up. If you're referring to the fact that he dropped the punt, Sterling Shepard never returned a punt in an NFL game before. It was almost high schoolish that Joe Shane looked around. Brian Dable looked around and said, is anyone here? Can anyone here return punts? Because you had Eric Gray go off with the calf injury, who had already dropped the punt and fumbled the punt. So, it was funny when Darius Slayton came in and there was I think it was the second punt to him. And I love it because he let it go in the end zone. And at one point in time, it looked like he's like, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want nothing to do with this, man. I'm just going to let it go in the end zone. Thank God it didn't bounce at the 1. But you can't, I don't think he's washed. I think Sterling can find his place as a 4th wide receiver, but I also think the fact that the Giants have a lot of 3rd, 4th wide receivers. What happened to Isaiah Hodgins? Whatever happened to Isaiah? He was going to come in here and just set the world on fire. Paris Campbell can't even get on the field now. You figure you got to trade Paris Campbell. Shep looked like a bit slow. None of that speed is there anymore. He's not. He got come off Achilles injury and knee injury, every other injury under the sun. Let's see. Zach said, didn't we have Kevin Zeiler, who we would have kept under deal? Yeah, we have Kevin Zeiler, and then that year, Kevin Zeiler, he went over to Baltimore and was like the highest rated guard in reference to basketball game. Yeah, sometimes we're not that smart. Mr. Alvarez says, the only few things I can think of forward to next year is at least a lot of these rookie quarterbacks seem to have pocket presence. I don't think we're asking for a lot. As a Giant fan, I don't think we're asking for a lot. I think we're, in reference to the quarterback, we're looking for a quarterback who has pocket awareness, who has the presence to understand and feel and sense the rush, knows how to make adjustments at the line, understands that if you see something in the defense you do not like from the offensive play set you have, you can't audible out and go to the four some plays that you have that you can audible into. And we just need someone that's going to put his players in the right position to make plays. Saquon Barkley's 30-yard touchdown run was a thing of beauty. And why was the thing? First of all, it was a great run. But one of the things that was interesting about the entire run was Saquon wasn't the first option. Tyrod went back to Saquon. Tyrod looked downfield, rolled to the left, continued to look downfield, didn't see anyone open. saw Barkley coming out of the backfield and hit Barkley with a nice pass. But he was continuously looking down the field. I mean, that's great. I mean, that's what you need. Indian Spice says Giants can get younger at the wide receiver 4 position. They should get younger. You're right. They really should. Timothy says, Tim, if Tyrod Taylor gets hurt, should the Giants start Tommy DeVito for the rest of the season? No, you got to go to Daniel Jones. Michael says, I'm shocked how it dropped to the 3rd round. I was shocked too. I thought the Giants were. If the Giants took Hyatt in the 1st, I was fine with that because you could see the talents there. I compared him to Devontae Smith, and yeah, he fell to the 3rd. Was shocking because of the fact that they said he couldn't run routes, and I have to admit, the one big catch when everybody was like, "Wow, look at that double move." There was no double move. He ducked his head a little and then just continued to run straight. What he has is speed. That's what he has. I mean, he has what we say. Where's Mick? We gotta find Mick.
You gotta get speed, demon speed. Speed's what we need. We need greasy, fast speed.
That's what he has. He has speed. There was no double move. He was running a fly, ducked his head a little bit, and then continued to run straight. Greg says, I don't remember us ever having an elite. Dave Meggett, was probably, I would say, the most elite that I ever can remember seeing. That saw the Giants play. Zach says, why do we cut Jameson Crowder and Mickens? Is looking like jobs and looking for a job and a gunner. We just miffed on a lot of punts in Pittsburgh, and Tomlin is saying goodbye. I know. I know. You're right. You're not wrong. Daryl says we should have never went with Cole Beasley over. I don't understand why we went with Cole Beasley over Crowder. I did not get that. I said in that first preseason game, Cole Beasley had like 6 catches for like 40 yards or something like that. I can't remember. And Jameson Crowder had 2 catches for 45. It was like, okay, well, one guy has speed and can still run. The other guy is washed up. But, I don't know. Ramsey Barton, we need to start. Oh, my God. Sonoris Moss. Yikes. Sonoris Moss had speed, but he just didn't have talent. Mr. Albert says this past draft was solid. Team knew they could draft prospects early on and still get a day 1 guy ready on day 3. It was a great pickup. I mean, like I said, Hyatt was a great pickup. Pimp Name Slickback says, this is why every Giant beat writer and former player tweeting about how the Giants can't move on from Jones. It's embarrassing how little accountability there is. I think it was James Williams. I think I was talking to him. I can't remember if it was James or T Brad or if it was El Gigante. I can't remember who I was talking to. And we were talking about the fact that one of the things that bugs us about Daniel Jones is the lack of accountability. Now, Jones always says the right things when he does something stupid. He always said, it's on me. I got to learn from my mistakes. I got to be better. But it happens so often at times that when Dable tries to get in his face about it, and people are like, well, he's showing him up on the sideline. And I went back to the fact that Bill Parcells used to rip the crap out of Phil Simms. And we talked about it on Sunday. There's that famous video of Phil Simms and Bill Parcells going out it. And Parcells looks at Simms and tells him to shut the F up and sit down. And someone pointed out that I did remember that he's like, you know what game that was? And I said, it was the Indianapolis game. And you're like, yeah, and that was a blowout. We blew Indianapolis out. So even in a blowout, Bill Parcells is still reaming his quarterback. And Phil Simms took the accountability for it. So you got to, so where is the accountability? Beasley freaking once retired once. Who's Beasley? Beasley played for Daves. I didn't know that. Okay. Jalen Hyatt is good at one deep route. He's taller than Darius Slayton. Jalen Hyatt, like I said, Jalen Hyatt does need to develop a little bit more routes, but we can't sit there and say he's got all these solid moves. He's catching the ball better than I thought he would. Pimp name slicks back. Why is there every giant beat writer and former? I already read that one. Oh, why do you go, my lovely? Who remembers Marshall Newhouse, the only offensive lineman Eli yelled at when he missed a free runner? Oh, I do remember that. I also do remember Ruben Randall was the only wide receiver that I really saw Eli go after. That was that Thursday night game in Chicago when Eli threw 3 in first quarter interceptions, all to Ruben Randall's side. Hyatt is faster than Tariq Hill. I know you're being facetious. You know what Tariq Hill has?
You gotta get speed. Demon speed. Speed's what we need. We need greasy, fast speed.
Oh, God. Marshall was terrible. James Williams said, insurance salesmen don't deal in accountability, Tim. You're right. They don't deal in accountability. They deal in the probability that you may have an accident one day. So make sure you go out and get some State Farm insurance. Skyline says, Tim, was there ever a point in your playing that you considered playing for the Giants? No, I never played. I never got out of college. I would play for the Giants if they would let me play. They wouldn't let me play because I wasn't that good. So, Bob says, Lawrence Tyne said, we owe Jones $82 million, so you can't move on. Time for everyone to grow up. Fans are ripping him in the comment. Glad the fan base is waking up. I didn't see that. How do you say that, though? Yeah, just because you paid a guy doesn't mean, just because if you pay a guy and he sucks, you're supposed to just play him and allow him to suck. That doesn't, Lawrence Tynes is weird. Lawrence Tynes is up and down with his comments. I think he's getting more into shock factor. What's J Sports Car said? Our return game was decent. Dominic Hickson, yeah, he was underrated, but I wouldn't say he was a breaker. I mean, but if you're looking at someone that was consistently dynamic, you got to go Dave Meggett. You know, if you want to look at someone that we've talked about before, it was just crazy. You got to go with Leon Bright in the 80s. Leon Bright never fair caught the ball. Literally never fair. His career almost ended in Philadelphia because he didn't call for a fair catch on a punt and got destroyed. Leon wasn't that bright. Hyatt reminds me of Deshaun Jackson. He does a little bit, but Deshaun Jackson really did have route running capability, but not early in his career. You're right. Topic change. Is anyone else annoyed as heck at the Taylor Swift NFL propaganda? My favorite story about James Williams and I at the Seattle game, I think it was the third quarter, and the Jumbotron, all of them had Taylor Swift on it. Oh, the crowd's booing. James looks at me and goes, why the F is Taylor Swift on the Jumbotron here? What the? I like that James says, because she's having a concert here like in a month. So they're trying to sell tickets. But I think they're already sold out. But I love that part. Daryl says, Lawrence Tyne is the biggest second homer behind Carl Banks. Carl Banks is weird. He has these moments. Especially during the broadcast, of clarity and honesty. And then he goes back on it. I think the biggest homer, and I think James can attest to this, at the stadium is Howard Cross. We just got walloped by Seattle, and Howard Cross does in the coaches club, he does like a little recap show for the fans in the coaches club, and he's trying to explain to all the fans in the coaches club why none of it was really Daniel Jones's fault. And I love it because I got James screaming, what about this play? What about this play? Tynes had a strange career. He did. Tynes is a former Giant. Makes sense that he's a homer. Yeah, there are some former Giants that aren't homers. Danny does. GJ stinks. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. Go Diago says, what a salesman Jones is, though. Dude really got some people who went to fraudulent. I don't know. I really don't know what they see in him, but hey, you know what it is. Lawrence Tyne says Jones would have to be a top 5 MVP. Times would be a top 5 MVP candidate. He's clearly not a big thinker. James Williams is really starting to dislike Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift is overrated. Yeah, Taylor Swift is no I don't know. I can't think of. There's no Taylor Swift is no Janet Jackson. Michael says, the thing that is nobody's saying about Tyrod is our future. He just gives us the best chance to win this year. He does. We said it before. Tyrod Taylor is not the future of this team. He's not the answer because he's not even the question, because he's probably not going to be here next year because of the fact that if he continues to play well, he's going to get a contract. He'll get a 1 or 2 year deal from some team that's either looking for a spot starter or a backup. So I don't think he's going to be with the Giants. I love this one. James, you mean you're not into the Kansas City Swifties? Tiki's a homer. Tiki is a homer. Big task at hand. Question: does Deontay Baxter remind you of Jason Sehorn? No. He actually reminds me of Mark Collins. If you want to go back a little bit into Giant history, Mark Collins, I believe, was a 2nd round pick. Played extremely well at times for the Giants at corner, went over to Kansas City, was an all-pro at safety. It kind of has the same demeanor, kind of has the same size, kind of still in the same makeup. Got a little bit of chip on his shoulder, a man-to-man guy. So if I had to pick someone in Giant history, I'm going to go with Mark Collins. Now let's see here. Indian says, make sure your kids never see Taylor Swift as a role model. I don't think so. Jeff says, how long before we see Daniel Jones in a State Farm commercial? He's going to have to do something soon. Howard Cross had armed guards protecting him after that game. I just loved it, though, because we're waiting to go onto the field after the game, and James is waiting there impatiently because he's got a train to catch. But you hear things coming out from behind you from Howard Cross. And we're not even looking at Howard Cross, but you hear things coming out. And I just love it because James is like, what about this? What about this? And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I love it. Pimp names like Chris Canty has been on ESPN saying they need to move on for Jones since 2020. Chris Canty, former Giant defensive lineman, not a homer. Natural Supreme says, is it me or does every Giant fan that works for WFN sound delusional? Tiki is number one. It's funny. Boomer Esiason has been pretty spot on recently about Daniel Jones. But yeah, any former Giant. Taylor Swift is no Shania Twain. Well, you want to know why? Because she don't impress me much. How was that one? That was a good one, huh? That was a good one. I only know that because YouTube had a Shania Twain video in my queue, and it was that song. Joe Buck was a homer for Daniel Jones. Troy Aikman. Oh my God, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman loves Daniel Jones. I don't know if he still does. Is like Wandell's wide open and half a sack. Troy Aikman loved Daniel Jones at one point in time. James Williams says, I'm taking the Dixie Chicks and Dolly Parton over Taylor Swift. OG Knockout says Taylor Swift doesn't have a butt. Okay. I don't remember. Does Janet Jackson have? I don't remember. She's no Beyonce. Mr. Alvarez says all the Giant homers are commentary, and beat writers need to start being referred to as the lint because they are so deep in Mara's pocket. I remember some ESPN analysts called Swift the greatest performance of all time. Maybe they never heard of Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury. The Michael Jackson one back in was it the 90s? His halftime show was, he literally, and I know they were doubles. But they had these guys. I think it was in the LA Coliseum. I remember this because this was like phenomenal. All of a sudden, he was on top of one of the jumbotrons, and then he disappeared. Then he was on top of another jumbotron. Then he disappeared, and then he was in the middle of the field. That was pretty interesting. Let's see here. Chris says Bad Dog has changed since going on Locked On Giants with Chris. Zach, I don't know what Locked On. I don't know what that is. I don't know which one that is. But he's Taylor Swift. Diet Ghost said Taylor Swift looks like a Keebler elf. Well, no, that's not nice because Dom is a Keebler elf. I don't know how people feel about that. I don't know. I don't have no opinion on Taylor Swift. Everyone seems to have a lot of opinions on Taylor Swift but me. Because you want to know why? She don't impress me much. Why is Twitter everyone saying, "Oh, I feel bad for Daniel Jones. The Giants guaranteed $100 million to him through his." Bob is right. James Williams said this a million times. He doesn't feel any remorse for Daniel Jones because he got his rookie deal, and then he got another $80 million. I don't feel as bad for a guy we gave $100 million to. Who can't play. Bobby Okereke, the best giant linebacker since Jesse Armstead. Yes, he's better than Pierce. Yeah. Greg says, last call, a spade. Tyrod will get concussed. Daniel Jones will come in and stink the rest of the season. If he doesn't get massacred by the line, he is terrible. You're right. What is OG said? I wonder what they saw in Daniel Jones at Duke because no one else was talking about him. I don't know. Dennis says we need Howard Cross to help us out and explain why we don't understand what we're looking at. You know what's funny though, Dennis? Howard really doesn't explain anything. I love Howard Cross because I've talked to Howard Cross at least 24 times in the last 5 years. Because he's all, he works with, he's at the stadium, he does the pregame, postgame stuff. So, I mean, it's but he doesn't explain himself. He just tells you things. But the problem is he tells you things, and when you listen and you just watch the game, you're like, none of that really made any sense. Like when Daniel Jones threw the interception to Witherspoon, he was saying, well, Daniel Jones was just so rattled. That's why he made the bad play. It's literally what he said. No, I'm like, wait a minute. We paying a guy $100 million to be rattled? Yeah, let's see here. Guys, Tiki Barber is still doing damage control when he talked bad about Eli. Tiki is making up for the Giants being the biggest critic for years. Oh, we got Fabian and we got Honeypot. Honeypot, can I speak? It's been too long. I would do it, Honeypot, but I got to leave in 9 minutes. So I want to make sure everyone gets in. Come on Sunday's show. Sunday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Email me at tim@onlineBigBlue.com, and I will send you the link. You can come on Sunday's show. We got Fabian saying, Timmy. Big L says, can I get the OG QB shaft drop? Of course you can get the OB QB shaft drop because you got it. Shut your mouth. Well, I'm talking about shaft, and I can dig it.
Who's he? The OG QB.
I will say this. Shaft Goes to Africa. Highly underrated movie. One of the best, in the Shaft series. Was it great? No, but highly underrated movie. Who is the man? Risk his neck for a brother, man. I'm talking about Shaft, and I can dig it. I gotta say it. I forgot. I'm just talking about Shaft, and I can dig it. Richard Roundtree is Shaft, and now I know Samuel Jackson was the new Shaft, but Richard Roundtree, silver revolver in the freezer. That's just a film. Todd says Tiki cares too much about being trying to make up for what he said about the time. You're right. Pimp Next looks like, yeah, Boomer I said today on WFAN that Tyrod is better than Jones at this point in time, which is scary because he's 34 years old. Stanley says, hey, Tim, I think the Giants might make a run and finish the season 9-8. Of course, I looked at the schedule, and the only game that are not winnable are the Eagles and the Cowboys games. That's 3 losses right there. And so you're already at 8 losses. So you would have to win every other game. And I don't see that happening. There are some other games on the schedule I don't see us winning. Tiki is the most overrated great. I don't think Tiki's overrated. I think Tiki, if he would have stayed and didn't retire early, I think he would be a Hall of Famer. Taylor Swift is taller than Wandell. Okay. All right, Joe. I love it. Let's see. The Colts got robbed versus the Browns. That off topic. The officials have been terrible this season. I just love it. James just loves it too. Yeah, because okay, is she? Mike Lee says, up with people who are more entertaining than Taylor Swift. I feel bad for Taylor Swift now. Well, what's up, Fabian? Everything's good, man. I'm doing well. Evidently, nobody likes Taylor Swift, or no NFL fans do. I don't know. I don't care. She's in Kansas City. She's dating what's his name? Kelsey? Whatever. I know the NFL's pitching her ad nauseum because they're trying to get a younger fan base. Nick says, pimp name select back. When's the Nick Channel starting? I need to rant about James Harden. This guy has no respect for the game of basketball. The Nick Channel, I'm actually probably going to have the first video out mañana. It's 3-D, the New York Knicks 2023 season. I want to talk about how the Giants did not extend Emmanuel quickly, which could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. We're gonna talk about that. It's Chris and Bad Dog's original show. Which show is that, Zach? I know that was something we talked about earlier. Let's see. Hey, Tim, did you think of the Snoop Dre? Oh, I love the Snoop Dre halftime presentation. And then you dropped in 50 Cent. Oh, that was great. That was another good one. That was another good one out of nowhere. Indian Spice says, Daniel Jones and his family is set for generations, no remorse. Taylor Swift is more annoying because until Kelsey, no one had a clue she was into football at all because she wasn't. I'm going to say this right now. I have learned way too much more than way more than I ever wanted to learn about Taylor Swift in this last hour and 10 minutes. I've learned way too much about Taylor Swift right now. Let's see here. Locked On Giants is part of Locked On Network that has podcasts for all teams for football and other sports. I did not know that. Okay. So I'm confused now. So is that their show? I'm a little confused now. Howard Hamlin. I'm thinking Harry Hamlin for LA Law. Howard Hamlin versus Grayson Howard Cross. J Ham, what's going on? I haven't seen J Ham in a while. Saw you on the chat the other day. Giants should stay aggressive on offense. I like the way the offense was moving down the field in the first half. Yeah, then it's kind of switched out. I don't know what happened, J Ham. I really don't know what happened. Last year, the Washington games, Howard Cross and WF blamed Slayton for a terrible throw. Oh, I do remember that. You're right. I do remember that. Howard Cross and Tiki Barber are homers. After that, Tiki says, Eli Manning, how can we take him seriously? He's just kissing ass. You're right. Locked On Giants is Patty Traina's. Fake news, DJ, Giants failed DJ. Oh, the Sports Illustrated lady. All right. Tim, any Barkley updates? He's got a hyperextended elbow. He played with it. He says he's good to go. Tim will be wearing a Jets jersey in MetLife. I do have I have a Ty Law Jets jersey, but no, I'm not going to do that. OG knocks out. Shaft was my all-time favorite. I am an 80s baby though. Shaft is just, Richard Roundtree is Shaft, man. There was nobody cooler than Richard Roundtree as Shaft. Even in the second iteration of Shaft with Samuel L. Jackson, he was still the man. And I love it because in the second Shaft movie with Samuel L. Jackson, when they had 3 generations of Shaft, I loved it because at the end of the movie, Richard Roundtree is fighting this guy and he shoots him. And Shaft walks up and Richard Roundtree's holding the guy's knife. And he goes to Richard Roundtree, are you having a knife fight back? You having a knife fight back here? He goes, hell no, I shot him. That's always great. OG Sports. It's up, Jeff. What's going on? I said, I'd rather just keep wearing the jersey we had on yesterday. I don't like the solid blue with the NY. I love the throwback stuff. What's going on, OGR? How you doing, my brother? Smash the like, says Razzle the Great. Warzone. What's up, Keith? If you don't know Keith, make sure you subscribe to the Warzone Sports Entertainment. Always dropping knowledge. Go and listen. Diet Ghost. The only place the Giants are making a run is to Evan Neal's Burger Stand. Taylor Swift is 5'11". Well, that seems pretty tall. I think Wandell is 4'7". I don't mind Taylor Swift, but this is fun. I can't even think of a Taylor Swift song. I'm trying to think of one. A quick Taylor Swift story. I thought she was on American Idol. And I was talking to my wife and I was telling her, I said, yeah, that girl that was on American Idol. And she's like, and I said, she used to sing country music. She was on American Idol. And she's like, I forget who it was. The woman's Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood, yeah. She goes, you mean Carrie Underwood? I said, no, not Carrie Underwood. The other one. The other one. I think I watched one episode of American Idol. And I'm like, shake it off, lady. She goes, Taylor Swift was never on American Idol. But I'm learning a lot about Taylor Swift today. She's 5'11". According to OG Knockout, she doesn't have a butt. And she's dating Travis Kelce. All right. If Amara is concerned about putting the best product on the field, Tyrod will be the starter. I don't disagree. You're right. OGR is a fan of Taylor Swift. Locked on Giants out of the failed Daniel Jones. Taylor Swift is good for business. I should just have her on because evidently that's all everyone wants to talk about right now. It's funny because Kristen Bad Dog didn't want Daniel Jones the night they drafted him. I know. I have Zach Attack working on a little project for me. The Zach Attack, the unofficial producer of the Online Big Blue Show, also known as the Googler. Let's see here. Chiefs scored. She screamed home run. She screamed goal. Diet Go said we must continue to break two with more Taylor Swift commentary. I've seen the light. Taylor Swift is a great value. Jessica Simpson, she is Kelsey and Simpson. Jessica Simpson was Romo. Jessica Simpson did a show with her husband, a reality show. I think it was on MTV. I watched some of that when it first came out. I did watch that with my wife. I do remember that. I don't remember the show, but I do remember years ago watching that. Let's see. JM says Bad Dog caters to the DJ fanboys. I don't want to scroll down because there's just going to be more Taylor Swift shit. Stanley says, hey, Tim, is it only me or I'm getting tired of all the Taylor Swift dating Kelsey? I honestly think it's great now. I think I'm going to be a Taylor Swift fan. Do you think the Jets with the OG QB? Do you think we beat the Jets with the OG QB? I'm not picking us, but I wouldn't be surprised on how the defense is playing. The defense is going up against Zach Wilson. The defense played well against some pretty mediocre offenses. So, and when they played against good teams, they got shown up. So I hope the defense can do it. El Gigante says, we are all types confused. Let's stick to Taylor Swift. Yeah, she did that video. That was really good when she was in like the video and she was dancing. That was a good one. Michael, he said the Giants of the second half remind me of Taylor Swift. No, I'm just kidding. The Giants of the second half were the new, kinder, gentler Giants. What's up, Miguel? What did you say? What are the players around KD and Tim Neal in the 22 draft? Are they any better? Jets had an awesome first round, man. Jets had a phenomenal first round. OG says, I'm doing good. Tim, how you doing as well? I'm doing okay. I've been better till Taylor Swift showed up. I looked into Adam Schefter. They are targeting to get Andrew Thomas back this week. I'm hoping they are. Zach Attack said, shake it up, shake it off. Players going to play, and the haters going to hate. And Justin Pugh's going to give up a sack. So we're just going to shake it off. Max says, I'm hoping this means he is I hope he's ready too. Dennis says, Tiki was not better than Joe. Tiki was better than Joe Morris. Joe Morris had the big season in 86. Tiki had more of an extended career. He was, like I said, I love Joe. Anytime you got a guy 5'7" out of Syracuse, he had to beat out Butch Woolfolk, who was the first round pick, and I think in 82. When was the strike? 82. He was the Giants' first round pick out of Michigan at 82. So he rode the bench till 84, 85. And then Butch got traded at the end of the 84 season. So Joe took over. So Joe kind of, he had a good career, but he was just too quick. Diet Ghost said Taylor did used to sing country though. Funny enough. Good to know. She had 50 plus what? It's a Patricia Trainer show. Okay, I got that. Was Taylor Swift ever on there? Don't forget to hit the like, because if you don't, we're going to keep talking about Taylor Swift. Danny Dudd says DJ, even if healthy, will not play. The Jets ownership doesn't want to see him look even worse. I would be worried that they didn't allow him to play. because of the fact that you're right. I think the Jets defense will kill them. Stanley says, Locked On Giants and Pitcher Trainers podcast. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Zacatech says, Taylor Swift is a good-looking woman. I'd rather that than the commercials. I don't know. Some of the commercials are pretty funny. Giants, Daniel Jones, Giants fans, I knew we were in trouble when we walked in. Yes, more, please. No more. Taylor Swift makes her NBA debut next season. Oh, my God. You know what's funny about the NBA? The WNBA? The WNBA they were just complaining about their salaries and how compared to the NBA, their average salaries is well below market value in this. And then someone pointed out that the NBA is worth, something like $500 billion and the WNBA is only worth like 30 million. And the majority of the WNBA money comes from the stay in existence comes from the NBA. It's not from ticket sales. It's not from jersey sales. They get money from the NBA to stay in business. And I just laugh because it's like, so you want to make as much as they make in the NBA, but you bring in 75% less revenue than the NBA does, and you need to be subsidized by the NBA just to stay in existence. I thought that was kind of interesting. James Wilson says, I want to see Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson in the battle of the quarterbacks who should not have been drafted. Can we talk about my man crush, Eli Manning? Yeah, sure we can. Honestly, let's see here. I expect the Jet game to be ugly. The game really hinges on what version of Zach Wilson is on the field. You're right. Let's see here. Hey, Tim, what's up? Who's bigger icon, Taylor Swift or Beyonce? I'm going to have to say Beyonce because I know Beyonce songs and she was in Destiny's Child. Was it Destiny's Child? Yeah. I was going to say TLC, but she was in Destiny's Child. So yeah. So I think she's had a longer career and she's married to Jay-Z. So I am going to go with Beyonce. Gene, I'm going to take Beyonce for 400. What Zacatag says, now we got problems, and I don't know. We can think about solve them. You've made it really deep cut, and baby, now you got bad blood. Giants content creators to Tim. Oh my God. The WNBA does not generate that type of revenue. It does not warrant salary increases. It was the same thing with the women's soccer. Because you had the woman that just retired with the purple hair complaining that they don't make the same amount of money that the men do. And they were pointing out the fact that, that the men make 80% more revenue. That's why they get paid more. And then I love it because then someone just said, well, why don't all the women just play with the men and play against the men? And then it was pointed out that they had the USA women's soccer team had a scrimmage against a high school team, a boys high school team, and lost like 7-0. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Let's see here. You deserve to see Daniel Jones for Zach Wilson. I hope not. OGR knows all the words to Bad Blood. I don't know all the words to Bad Blood. I'm just playing songs in my head. You look so good. Ain't my type of hype, baby. You and me together. Just because I got to get Taylor Swift out of my these lyrics out of my head. Honestly, we should all be a little bit more upset with Maris since 2015. It has been his fault. I agree. Why doesn't Danny Brown look as confused on the sideline? Wow, we can throw the ball down the field. It is allowed. In these places, the WNBA on average makes 6 figures. They act like they're working at McDonald's. You're right. My ex was a Swiftie, and now half of her songs are in my head. I'm assuming a Swiftie is someone that likes Taylor Swift. You can't pull the wool over my eyes. In the women's soccer league, they actually folded, to which it was more annoying. The women made money off the men's soccer team appearance in the World Cup while they were doing nothing. They just had a Ryan Reynolds team from Mint Mobile. There'll be a Mint Mobile video out, I think tomorrow. Make sure you go to mintmobile.com/bigblue. $15 a month, unlimited internet. They played one of his teams played a women's soccer team, and I think they beat them like 12-0. All because they wouldn't stop complaining. Stanley says, "Hey Tim, why is it the Eagles keep having success with tush push while other teams and try to replicate it don't have success? Because the Eagles have a great offensive line and they have a nice quarterback who understands how to slide into the middle." Tyrod says, "When I was in middle school, it was a choice between Taylor and Rihanna. I chose Metallica and circled back to Rihanna." Oh, you people broke my brain. You broke my brain. And tonight, exit light, grains of sand, off to Never Neverland. There we go. We got Taylor Swift out with a little Metallica. I hate it when millionaires complain about money. I know. Tim, you need to shake it off with Beyonce. I think that's the only song I remember. I got a blank space baby. What's for dinner? I had barbecue meatloaf. I make with Red Robin seasoned French fries and cranberry sauce. I have a big green egg grill, so what I do is I actually make the meatloaf in the big green egg grill. Don't really do the it's not really don't really smoke it, but you smoke it a little bit, so you get a little bit of that smoky flavor, but you're kind of getting the grilled flavor, and it puts if you do it right, it puts a little layer of like a little hard layer. It's not hard to eat, but it's just it's a little bit of a firmness, so it kind of gives it that little bit of crunch. Oh, Red Robin's awesome. Red Robin, you know what's also really good, besides Taylor Swift, maybe it was Red Robin. Oh yeah, I ate a Red Robin on Sunday. That was good. They got a good milkshake. Because all the boys in the yard think I'm better than yours. Nick says if Jones is back and sucks, it would all be because people didn't give us a medium Pepsi. Rob talks about Bobby Johnson, who switched to a Taylor Swift song. Oh my God. Is that a New Era hat? Yes, it is actually a New Era hat. It is one from about 3 years ago. 3 years. Yeah, I'm going to say about 3 years ago. Applebee's. No, it wasn't Applebee's. It was Red Robin. I like Applebee's though. Applebee's has a quesadilla burger that's pretty good. But I never really ate Red Robin until I think it was like 3 months ago. It was like the first time that I'd eaten Red Robin, like in, I don't know, 20 years or something. Maybe it wasn't even that. Maybe it was the first time I ate Red Robin ever. But they have a really good seasoning. And you could buy the fry. You could buy the seasoning to go there. And it's not that expensive. And you don't have to try to steal it because you can just buy it. Not that I tried to steal it or anything. But it was really good. Five Guys, I like Five Guys too, but I like Red Robin. I don't know, Johnny Rockets. I haven't seen Johnny Rockets in a while, but Red Robin was really good. I really enjoy, and they got the bottomless fries. But the problem is they give you enough fries that you really don't want any more fries. I was really hungry on Sunday because I was drinking at the same time, so I had some fries. It was good, and my wife got a chocolate milkshake because my son loves Red Robin, and he gets the I think it's like an Oreo milkshake. It's almost like a McFlurry, I would guess. But that's at least we got off Taylor Swift. Caught in a landslide with no escape from reality. Johnny Rocket says that. Stanley says if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, we'll see nothing but Taylor Swift all over hype. Tim, Five Guys by me on the Jersey Shore and Smash Burgers. I'm not a big Smash Burger fan. I didn't know what a Smash Burger was. My wife had to explain it to me. I didn't really like. I mean, I'm not really like I said, I like good burgers, and you have that Wagyu beef from I think it's from Japan, and I put that on the grill a lot. That's really good. It's expensive, but it's a lot cheaper when you eat it at home. But that's really good. But I do like we've had Five Guys before. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Tea time. Everyone agree. Stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. This describes Daniel Jones. Joe Rev, I'm not raffling off the hat. The hat you want, I hid. I'm afraid you're going to come to my house and steal it. Great balls of fire. I do need to throw that other one. So Five Guys is good. Swifty Burgers from Red Robin. Oh, yes, says Irish Rover. What's going on, Mr. Rover? Nice hat. Thank you. I got a lot of hats. My wife and my son get me hats for like holidays and stuff. And it's great because they always find like these different hats and they're awesome. The one that Joe Rev wants, the Salute to Service one, was from, I think, 3 years ago. And the brim is kind of coming apart. So I figured I'd just go like on eBay or something to find the hat because I was like, well, it can't be that difficult to find. Then I find out it's like this special limited edition hat and they won like $150 for the hat. I was like, you're on crack. I'll just have my wife glue the hat back together again. Indian Spice says, open your eyes, look at the skies and see. There's nothing like a big kahuna cheesesteak. Oh, my God. Hey, Kevin, you didn't get the notification that I was on. White Castle. You got to love White Castle. I'm from Jersey, man. You got to love White Castle. White Castle, 3 o'clock in the morning. If you can't get to Denny's, you got to go to White Castle, man. Went to White Castle, and then we got kicked, thrown out. I love the Chiefs to lose the AFC Championship so we could see Taylor Swift script her tears. White Castle, late night classic. Love the New Era flex. I love the New Era hats. I think they're awesome. When Rob goes on a Bobby Johnson chant, we are just going to start bringing up random celebrities. Jersey Mike's. I don't think I've never eaten at Jersey Mike. I've never done that. White Castle in Clifton. I know where that is. I know exactly where White Castle is in Clifton, New Jersey. James Williams from the Indian Spice. James, we heard more headlines about Swift than to comfort Travis after the loss. Let's see here. I am just a poor boy. I need no sympathy because I come easy, go easy, little high, little low. I'm assuming these are Taylor Swift lyrics. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? Hit the like. Get up to 60 likes so I can shake it off. Oh, hold on. Taylor. I'm not Googling anything. Taylor Swift lyrics. Let's see here. Famous. Oh, here we go. When you find everything you've looked for, I hope your life leads you to my front door. Oh my God. Stewart's hamburgers. I haven't gone to Stewart's in years. Stewart's are also known for the root beer, which is awesome. You got to get a Stewart root beer. They used to be Stewart's all over the place. Now you really can't find them. They've closed most of them down. Mike, let's see. Jersey Mike's got the best subs. They're about to put Subway out of business. I didn't know that one. Taco Bell's my late night snack. Beefy Farito Barbito. Moved to Fort Worth 2 years ago. I miss White Castle. White Castle is awesome. No, Tim, it's Bohemian Rhapsody. Thank God. Tim, Bad Dog doesn't like Taylor Swift. Well, you know what the problem with him is you know what the problem with Bad Dog is? When you find something you've looked for, I hope your life leads me to my back door. That was the same thing I just read. When you play dumb, but know exactly what you're doing, we cry tears of mascara in the bathroom. These are lyrics. I know your favorite song and tell me about your dreams. Did I say something way too honest made you run and hide? Wasn't it beautiful when you believed in everything? These are songs from Taylor Swift. How can we just go back to Levert? I am not your Casanova. Me and Romeo ain't never been friends. Dr. Brown's cream or birch beer. Oh, that's a good one. My son likes the birch root beer. I'm not really into sodas. I don't really drink a lot of soda. I only time I ever drank a soda is when there's rum in it. These sandwiches are good, but too expensive. Seaside Heights, Stewart's root beer on the bowl. Oh, that is good. Cracker Barrel breakfast. I have not been to Cracker Barrel in years. The last time I've been to Cracker Barrel was like when I lived in Florida. So that's been years. Bad Dog needs to shake it off. Haters gonna hate. Jersey Mike, good too, but they got some independent spots that are great. Yeah, maybe I'll try Jersey Mike. Here's the question. Here's going to be the question. We're gonna get out of here. Here's the question: should I listen to a Taylor Swift song, or B, try Jersey Mike's? Which one is going to be less painful? Mike, what does Mike say? Not Mike Lee. Mike says Sonic is good. I only have a few in Connecticut though. Bob Evans. Oh, I love Bob Evans. I get the patties sometimes. I make them at home. Antonio's Pizza. I didn't know where Antonio's Pizza is in Clementine, New Jersey. I didn't know that, huh? Bob Evans is dope. I agree. Jersey Mike's. All right, everyone's saying I got to go to Big Wally's in Parlin, New Jersey. I got to try that. So everyone says that I need to go to Jersey Mike's. All right, so we have right now where you have looks like Jersey Mike's is leading the Jersey Mike or online Big Blue Taylor Swift contest. So it looks like we're going to go to Jersey Mike's, but if the Giants lose to the Raiders, you have to make a sound effect. I will do you one better, Indian Spice. If the Giants lose to the Jets, I will make a sound effect using a Taylor Swift song. I will do that. CJ sent me that. No, Bad Dog sides with the popular vote. He's on DJ's suck bandwagon now. Tank for Caleb. Well, you know what the problem is with Bad Dog is? Me and my stupid pride are sitting here alone. I realize you love yourself more than you could ever love me. Food for thought. And Zach Attack found Zach. Zach's working on a little project, so very good. Get the Big Kahuna burger. You're rolling up like the Big Kahuna. Interesting enough, my father's nickname was the Big Kahuna, which is really weird because he lived in a coal mining town. So, I mean, makes a lot of sense. Miguel says, please try Jersey Mike. Save yourself the embarrassment of listening to Taylor Swift. Found more videos. I want the Jets to win. Eats corn the wrong. God. Oh, we've just gone way down the hill. I don't care if the king of the almost sack has 8 sacks a game. Still trade him, says him.
King of the almost sack.
All right, guys. We're done. We're done. Okay, this is what we've learned so far today. I have to go to Jersey Mike's. I got to find a Jersey Mike's. There's got to be one around here. I got to go to Jersey Mike's and get a sub, and I got to get the Big Kahuna. Wonder Subs in Old Bridge, New Jersey. I missed that. I have to try that one. That's what we've learned today. I have to go. Daniel Jones sucks. Bad Dog and Chris need to understand because, baby, now we got bad blood. You know it. Used to be mad love. But time can heal. But this won't. So if you're coming my way, just don't. Guys, hit that like button, says Zach Attack. You can get Tim to listen to Fireside Giants talk about I'm not listening to Fireside Giants. I will listen to Taylor Swift. But I'm not. I'm going to take I'm going to have a Jersey Mike sub, and I'm getting a Kahuna burger. Or I'm getting a Kahuna sub. Was it the Kahuna? Was that what I was supposed to get? All right. I think we had a nice stream. It is we had now 60 something people still hanging out for this mess. Daniel Jones cult on suicide watch. Check your ignorant friends. Check on your ignorant friends, is James Williams. All right, guys. You know, we're gonna end it right here. We're gonna have to end it right here because there's only one simple reason why. We're just gonna shake it off. This is Tim, this is our Giant Strike Dog, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Have yourself a good evening, and we are out of here. See you later, everybody.